I want to talk about the life of Tetteh Quarshie and cocoa because the University of Ghana Business School will be holding, is it the third in the series of public lectures? And I do have a great person here to talk to us more on that. So we're discussing cocoa issues, if you like. My guest is Kwame Eni Ansa. He's a member of the committee for the Tetteh Quarshie Memorial Lecture. I want to say thank you for coming and good morning to you.
Good morning.
All right. So here's something just for you to think about, and then we'll come back and get down to the discussion itself.
For purposes of demonstration to their visitors, they bring their tourists or visitors here to have a look at what happens in the cocoa production process. So what you see here is the drying mat. Kofi is coming to demonstrate to us how the cocoa gets to this stage on this mat, and you'll be breaking one of the pod, the cocoa pods, and then we take the seeds out. We take the seed out and dry it on the mat. So he's just broken one of the pods, picked out the fruits, the seed.
Cover it.
Why do you have to cover it? What is the essence of the covering?
This is a banana, a plantain. Yes, it's covered it for 3 days. After 3 days, it's open it.
It's
a fermentation process.
It has to ferment before you dry it.
You cover it with the leaves for about 7 days. But the 7 days, the 3 days of have to move the stem, holding the beans out of it.
Why so?
Yes.
Why do you have to hold it like that?
Because normally when you break the pod, this stem is holding the beans. So you cover it 3 days. After 3 days, you come and move the leaves and move this stem, holding the beans, and cover it again for about 3 or 4 days.
4 days.
So by the 3rd day, you expect that when you come, the seeds would have fallen off.
Yes.
The stem, if I should call it like that.
It won't fall out of it, but you rather have to move it.
You take it out.
Yes, you take it out.
Why? But you've just been able to take it out.
But
right
normally,
now.
this is how it was.
That's how you do it. Okay.
So as soon as you move, you can see this color will change into a brownish color. And
on the 3rd day.
On the 3rd day.
Okay.
So when you move the stem, holding the beans out of it, they have to cover it again for about 4 days. On the 4th day, you come and move the leaves out and dry it.
And dry it.
Yes.
On the 4th day, what happens? Let's say that will be 7. On the 7th day, what happens to the seed?
The seed will change into brownish color, and this
slime around it will go.
It will dry small. So when you move it, and you have to put it on the mat for drying process. And it should be on an open space to get the direct sunlight.
Why must it ferment? Why do you have
normally this? When you go to the restaurant, they use this one to do cocoa butter and other things. They will put it in a box. On the 3rd day, they will turn it. This oil or surrounding it will come out, and they use it for another production, other cocoa butter or cocoa liquor and other things.
The factor and father Kwame Asumini used to be the chief caretaker. He is now visually impaired. What exactly did you do when you took over the maintenance of the farm to bring it to its current state?
What I did exactly was to apply manure and turn it well until Cocoa Board took over. They are currently managing it.
With all apologies, now that you can't see for you to be able to assess the current state of the farm, what exactly would you wish to be done on the farm?
I wish the government would personally take over to maintain it. They have already employed my son as the caretaker, Kofi Nyako. He is now tending the farm.
Nana, when we came, you were crying. Why?
There is no problem.
If there's no problem, then why are you crying?
As for sickness and death, it is inevitable.
So you are crying because of your ill health that you can't see?
Yes.
But hasn't Cocoa Board assisted you in your medicals?
When I first went to them, they couldn't get anybody who could take over. The farm was just there. It was just recently that they called me and gave me some money to start the treatment process.
One facility caretakers hoped could have brought life back to the farm is an over 10-year abandoned visitor center. It was an incredible revelation to the team that a huge investment such as this has become a white elephant left to the mercy of the weather.
Well, so my colleague Emefa there, who visited Mampong Ekuapem, where the farm is. This one is the Tetteh Quarshie farm, you tell me.
Tetteh Quarshie cocoa farm.
The original Tetteh Quarshie memorial farm. No, Tetteh Quarshie farm.
That's Tetteh Quarshie's farm.
Oh, okay.
When he had returned from Fernando Po.
Okay.
That was where he got a land, a fertile land, to plant his cocoa. He nursed the cocoa. He brought the seedlings, so to speak. I mean, from history, he brought the seedlings from Accra, because he realized Accra could not sustain the growth of cocoa. So he went up to the mountains, and then fortunately he was given land at Mampong Ekuapem. So that's where he first planted his seedlings.
His okay.
Yeah, the seedlings.
Well,
then with time he multiplied the number, and then as time went on, the town, the indigenes in the town also caught up with the plant. So that's how that's the genesis of how cocoa the farm was established.
Okay, and you tell me that the chief who was crying.
He wasn't the chief. He was the former caretaker.
The former caretaker of this farm.
Of the Tetteh Quarshie cocoa farm.
The very first Tetteh Quarshie
cocoa farm.
Cocoa farm.
Yes.
Okay, and he was crying there not because you make me understand, because he wanted to tell his story with his eyes open.
I believe so.
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe.
Okay, well. Okay, so more on Tetteh Quarshie, his life and cocoa. Now we hear that the prices of cocoa not exciting.
Well, it depends on the way we, I mean, the various governments go about it. That's how I see it. It is because we in Ghana do not see cocoa as an important how do you call it, commodity. Yeah, that's how I see it.
It is. I mean, it's
yes.
one of the few things
Yes.
that still get the name Ghana, you know,
Almost
like on an international
everywhere.
platform. Exactly.
Yeah, and that is why this year, you know, we are laying emphasis on the public lecture. Emphasis is being laid on the Ghana's cocoa, facts of the value chain. And
I'll get to that point, but a colleague, Joseph Opoku Gapo, with Joy FM, visited. I think it's Echima and Wabieja districts, where there are a lot of cocoa farmers, and they told their stories, the problems that they go through as cocoa farmers. One, they said they had not received their free fertilizers. Some of them were complaining that they were not even hospitals, and I was sad. I felt so guilty when one person said, and the cocoa clinic is not in the place where there are cocoa farmers and where we actually grow the cocoa and deal with the cocoa, but the cocoa clinic is in Accra.
yes.
How many cocoa farms do you have in Accra that you have the clinic sitting in Accra? I mean, it was really sad. So these people are going through a lot. Meanwhile, they deal with something that is really important to the country.
Exactly. It's very unfortunate. It's quite pathetic. When you begin to think about the way we've handled cocoa, we should have been, how do you call it, the custodian of the growth of cocoa to the world. But at the moment, as you rightly said, we don't see much about how best to promote the welfare of the farmers.
Of the people who
One,
do.
if you didn't mention the roads leading to the cocoa growing areas. And then talking about how the prices on the world market.
I think, and this is in quote, one person said that the world when you go to the world market, cocoa price is about 1,000 cedis, and guess what government is paying? 200 cedis.
Yes, they deceive the farmers. They pay so low and tell them they will pay bonuses, and the bonus will not get to them. By the time it gets to them, they have gone into debt so much that the bonus doesn't work well as expected. How for the cocoa farmers, the least we talk about the problems, the better. I'm happy that this time they said the National Research Fund is coming into play, so that the people will begin to investigate. They use the research fund to research into the lifestyle of cocoa farmers, because it's a whole lot of book to be written on the people who produce cocoa and how they are being treated. To date, since the time cocoa came to Ghana, they've never given them any special treatment.
So what's the problem? What's the issue here?
The problem is that we've not established any fund that will cater for the welfare of the cocoa farmers.
I know that in the past they were given scholarship.
Yes.
They were given scholarships to the children of cocoa farmers. That's still ongoing?
Yes, they are still giving scholarships.
Okay.
But people who do not have cocoa farms even benefit.
Why?
Well, that's
a scholarship for a certain group of people.
We know because I have interacted with the scholarship secretariat. Those who do apply, when it gets to them, it's in a pool. So if I know someone who can work it out for me, I'll push it that way.
It shouldn't be that way.
It happens.
There are people who really need support.
Yes.
I mean, there are farmers whose children have to go to school and become better than they are, and they need that fund.
You know, there was an introduction of a passbook to the farmers, and this passbook has helped in a way, because they can now identify the real cocoa farmer and how best to support that cocoa farmer. The previous government was doing much about that. You know, the spraying of the cocoa farms. They will make sure you have a cocoa farm, who the cocoa farm belongs to, so that those who go to spray will not go elsewhere or perhaps take advantage of them to take money.
Charge them for it because it's supposed to be free. It's
supposed to be free. Now it continued for some time, and it helped a lot. That's why we're able to hit that margin of selling almost 1 billion tons or so of cocoa some years back. And to date, we don't know what's happening, but I believe it is not a bad thing. I think it should be continued to help them. It was one of the things that was started, and then that was started to get to know the cocoa farmers. So as you continue to go to them to spray, you begin to interact with them. You see the problems, the supply of fertilizer, the actual problem they face when they are turning, the plant around. It's a huge work to do. You need an expert, and that is why we want to talk about Tetteh Quarshie. Because
I think when you take us through the chain, which I'm excited that is your theme, so that we understand the chain, because we've had Tetteh Quarshie, his story has been told, and I'll come to what exactly are we supposed to learn from the fact that he brought beans from another country to plant in our country today. So we can start from there before we go to the chain. What are we supposed to learn from that?
You know, when Tetteh Quarshie brought the plant, cocoa tree is an exciting plant. The fruit grows on the tree. So you can just imagine the fruit start growing from the top, not on as compared to an orange, a mango, or even like a banana, the shoots, it comes from the apex of the tree. But with cocoa, the fruit grows on the tree throughout to the end, to the base of the tree, on the trunk, at the back of the tree. And it was so exciting. Now, when they started spraying the cocoa, fertilizing the trees, the plant, the land to make the land fertile, you realize that the beans started growing from the top, and it's marvelous. I wish we could have seen a picture of a
cocoa tree.
Cocoa tree with all the
Fred,
fruits.
make it possible if you have
with all the fruits hanging on the tree from the top to down, and that is something exciting about the plant. Aside.
And as you, I'm trying to picture the excitement even as you're describing it right now.
And it's so beautiful. Looking at the pot as well. the shape and all that.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't know. Perhaps God created that plant for Ghana.
It's unique.
Yes, it's unique. It was planted for Ghana, I believe so. Because it was Ghana that cocoa came, that we begin to see the plantation of cocoa.
Why do they say Ghana cocoa is the best or amongst the best?
Yes, you see, Tetteh Quarshie was a special person. That's why we are celebrating him. When he brought the cocoa, he taught the people of Mampo and Kwapem how to nurture the tree, how to harvest the tree, and then, as we saw earlier on, they have to ferment the beans after the pod. They split the pod. Some time ago, when they split the pod is kept somewhere for it to get dried, and when it's dried up, it is used for other purposes, for soap. You know, when it's bent, yes, you can get caustic soda coming out of the pot.
Okay.
That is one of the uses. We started talking about the value now, the value chain as we did. So the beans, it is fermented for 3 days. After 3 days, they open up and then spread the beans again so that it will dissociate itself from the someone like there's a so it is holding on to the center of how they call the growth of the where the beans are packed in the pot. Now it should be separated. Now after the separation, it will be they'll cover it again and then treat it up to.
So like we saw the gentleman do it.
Explaining. The point is that as you go through all these processes, it makes the cocoa more. It improves upon its quality. It improves upon its uses, and then the flavor that is expected of the beans are generated. That is why they go through all these processes. And if you don't do it that way, when you use it for other products, you don't see the taste changes.
Okay.
And that's why Ghana cocoa is the best so
get
far,
it now.
because the original person taught the people in Ghana.
Okay.
When it came
how to plant it, harvest it in the correct way.
Yes, exactly.
Okay.
Up to the time to go to the market. Now it will be dried. When it dries up, all these ones are catered. I mean, the farmers know how to go about it, and it makes it look more attractive. When you pick a cocoa bean and you smell it, the flavor shows. And if you go to most of these factories or industries where cocoa is being processed, first they test it. They'll split it, look at it, look at the way it has been prepared, and they see the differences of the presentation of the beans from the various farmers. Some of them go up. There was a time we heard that they wanted to dry cocoa in an oven. It is not done.
That's not the original way.
Yes, that's not original. It will never be good. You will never have the right the flavor for industrial production.
So if our cocoa is that good, why are we not taking advantage of it?
That is why we are celebrating Tetteh Quarshie. Tetteh Quarshie was an industrious person. He had that in mind. He knew that cocoa was valuable, and that is why we should begin to see the need to come out with other uses of cocoa. It is not just for chocolate. The powder itself is supposed to be a flour, which can be used for bread. We don't plant wheat in Ghana, but we eat bread a lot.
Yeah.
So how about the cocoa flour for bread? We can. That is one of the uses of cocoa for bread. In Ghana, we don't eat cocoa bread much.
No, we don't. We're not used to it.
We've not promoted it.
It's a shame.
Yes.
You know, I visited the only chocolate factory that we have in Ghana, in Tema, the cocoa processing.
Is it the only chocolate factory?
Yeah, as in local cocoa. We use our local product to do the powder and then the chocolates. There's this tall building, cement, really tall, heavy. And they made me understand that was where Nkrumah, you know, thought, okay, when we harvest the cocoa, I mean, in whichever form we will store it there. It was a place for storage, and the building is just there.
Yes, even at the industrial area, Kaneshi industrial area.
There's one there
yes,
as
there's
well.
one there, yeah.
I mean, it's a shame.
There. And it's being wasted. We still don't keep the, I mean, we are still not keeping the cocoa, using the cocoa as it should be. Yeah.
Okay, so the University of Ghana Business School, in collaboration, this is with the, I think it's Equiapim Mampon Traditional Council.
Yes.
You're coming, this is the third in the series of lectures.
Exactly.
Okay. And you've explained that the theme is facts of the value chain,
yes,
which
Ghana's
you've explained. Ghana's, okay. So who will be there? What would you want us to take out of this lecture?
No, the maiden lecture, which was presented at the Great Hall at the University of Ghana, was on sustaining Ghana's marketing competitiveness through cocoa.
Okay.
Yeah, that was the first presentation. We realized that we can still get good things out of cocoa by presenting the various variety of its uses. So in order to make it more competitive, is it only the beans that we have to sell? How about processing it here before it goes out of the country? It makes it more valuable. And the presentation wasn't bad, but the attention wasn't quite much. I mean, the press couldn't cover as expected. Okay. Then the second one, we came talking about sustaining Ghana's development through cocoa in an oil emerging economy. Now oil has come in. Attention has been shifted to oil. Gold has been reversed all these years. Gold has never beaten. I mean, the
cocoa. It's been the same. Once gold is mentioned, cocoa is mentioned as well.
And you realize that cocoa is doing very well. Diamond, all other minerals in the country couldn't stand cocoa's competitiveness. And therefore, what we are saying is that this time round, if oil is coming to the system and we feel oil is going to do so much for us, how about our cocoa? So let us still concentrate on the cocoa. Cocoa is employing the greatest number of workers in this country. And we can still continue to encourage the youth to go into cocoa production. This time, improve varieties. 3 years, between 3 to 5 years, it has started fruiting. And cocoa fruit is at its best in fruiting when it's about between 8 and 10 years. Okay. That's when we begin to see the cocoa plant growing. Oh,
so the same tree?
Yes, the same tree. As it grows, it's a tree. As it grows, it fruits. But the more it grows, the older it becomes, the more it fruits. Yes, that is the nature.
Okay, so this is the cocoa tree you were talking about.
That's what we are describing.
Thank you, Fred.
You could see that cocoa is growing from the top. In some cases, you can see more of this than as we see now. Yeah, and it's so fascinating. I mean, to see such plants that God has created and has landed in our country.
Sure. So who is addressing this lecture?
It is the deputy CEO of the Cocoa Board.
Oh, that's fantastic.
James Kofi Kuchuati.
Okay.
Yes, James Kofi Kuchuati. And it is very unfortunate that when we go to look for people to support us, they always turn their face elsewhere.
Did you go to the cocoa processing company?
They do. They have been helping us. I could remember last year they gave chocolate, and so chocolate was distributed at the
but I see what you mean. You need cash.
Yes, you know, the point is that we want to introduce the Tetteh Quarshie dissertation prize.
Okay.
Yes, we want Tetteh Quarshie to be seen as an icon. Even Tetteh Quarshie should have been, if you begin to think about what Tetteh Quarshie did, it was far greater than what Nkrumah did for us. Nkrumah depended on Tetteh Quarshie to develop Ghana. So he loved Ghana, Tetteh Quarshie so much that he had special interest in Mampo Equiapim. He go to the Tetteh Quarshie Memorial Hospital, and then he prepared the Tetteh Quarshie farm, as they've been talking about. And it is an how do you call it, a tourist center.
Sure.
Because Tetteh Quarshie cocoa trees, 2 are still standing on the farm of old, since 1870. When
that's amazing.
Yes, the plant is still there. There are 2 strong ones. And the rest have died, but those ones are still standing, and it's very attractive. People go to see.
So quickly, where is the venue and what time?
The venue is at the University of Ghana Business School, RS Abagashi Auditorium.
Okay.
The time is 4:30. I mean,
dates?
Yes, the date today.
Oh,
it's today. 4:30.
Oh, so 4:30 today.
Today.
Okay.
4:30 today. We've been advertising the daily graphic and all that, so it's already on everywhere.
Right.
And we expect other people coming to the function. In fact, it is open to the public to attend.
Okay.
For us to see what the Quarshie.
Interesting. We'll be there. will be there. But I want to say thank you to you, Kwame Eni Ansa.
Yes.
He's a member of the committee that is in charge of the Tetteh Quarshie Memorial Lectures. This is the third in the series. Thank you very much, sir, for being here. I'll come